Welcome to the Social Mission Revolution.
Each week we explore some of the greatest undertold stories of businesses and everyday people who are making their ultimate impact on the world through social mission. This is Social Mission Revolution,
And this is your host, Andrea Putting. Welcome to Social Mission Revolution, and today my guest is Shahid Hosseni, and I'm looking forward to having a chat and finding out about what the passion in his life is that keeps him going. So welcome, Shahid.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Pleasure to be here with you.
So I like to start with that difficult question of if there's one thing that only one thing for you to fight for, what would that be?
I think equal opportunities, and I don't mean equal opportunities just in races or religion. I'm thinking of equal opportunities for females, males, for orphans, and normal other people that has normal family life. So equal opportunities in a big, broad spectrum.
That is a great thing to be fighting for. And I think if we all look at it in some way, that is something that comes back to every single one I talk to on this podcast. In some way, it's about equal opportunity for somebody. So that's a powerful thing for us to be constantly aware of, because that's something that's important to me as well.
Yes.
So I'd love to explore what it is that you're doing in the world, about your social mission, to see what you're doing to make a difference in the world. And so would you love to share with a little bit about what that is?
Absolutely. It started many years ago. And it was always very difficult when it first started. How do I bring equal opportunities? And about the year 2010, when I was working with a gentleman called Brian Simpson as my boss, that's when I realized what equal opportunity means in a broader spectrum. And I started thinking about, so what is the equal opportunity that I seek? Initially, it was all about others, and it was all about what can I do in the community, what can I do in the society, what can I do for others. But very soon I realized it all starts with myself, and what can I do with myself, and what can I do with my family first. Coming from a background, I was born in Afghanistan and lived in many different countries. It was always difficult to see that equal opportunities happening, because at a very early age, when I was 45 days old, when I moved out of Afghanistan, and from the very beginning, when I realized who I am, I was having difficulty understanding what equal opportunities are, because there was nothing equal for myself at the time. I think that shaped myself, my personality, and who I am today, and that shaped my journey in life. So initially, it was I couldn't go to school because I was a refugee. I wasn't a refugee, but I was a refugee, a foreigner going into a different country, and I was living in Iran at the time. So I wasn't easily being accepted into going to school. When I was in school, I was always being segregated for certain classes, for certain activities, either by pupils or by teachers or by the society itself. So this was very heartbreaking for me. But at the same time, it made me understand that what can I do to make the difference? So fast forward to just about a year and a half ago, I was in one of the self-development courses with Tony Robbins, and that was when I started learning about having a foundation. So first thing in my mind is, how am I going to be able to help? And who am I going to be able to help? So for me, of course, the amount of money that I could give today wasn't significant enough to many people around me to make a massive changes for them. But I knew that the amount of money that I could spend, if it was translated into a certain foreign currency and it was spent in a country like Afghanistan, it would mean a lot to a lot of people there, and it would help a lot of people. So I came up with an idea with my wife, thinking about who are we going to help and who are going to be most needy at this moment of time with that help. So we thought about orphans and widows in Afghanistan. And there's a lot of widows. There's a lot of females without partners because their partners are being killed in bombs attacks in Afghanistan. There's a lot of orphans. And we were talking about a third world country at its lowest, sort of on its knees. And then we're talking about people who are at the base of that, at the base of the food chain in that country. So last year, I started employing a family member who was not a widow herself, but she was a single mom, and she was struggling with making payments on a daily basis. So I thought the best I could do is employ her back in Afghanistan, and through her being able to reach out to orphans and families that are widowed, without husband, without immediate family members to support them. I was always a big believer that females in the society that I was born are being treated very, very unfairly. And some of the problems that people in Afghanistan are facing right now, it's because of those treatments, which unfortunately it's continuing to date. So we committed myself about $1,000 each month out of my own pocket as a donation to families in Afghanistan who are either widowed or they are orphans. And I've seen a growth in number of people, and I've seen significant support to families who couldn't go to school, who couldn't have a roof above themselves. And the more I see some of the videos and photos that are being sent through to me, it's the more and the stronger I become in my mission. That's where I am today.
That's an incredible story. What is one, if you were to pick out one of those stories that highlights to you, that touches you the most, what would that be?
Well, I think, unfortunately, every one of them touches me
Of course.
very significantly on a daily basis. But knowing that a family doesn't have a father who could, in a well male-orientated society like Afghanistan,
yeah,
to go out and do the work and to bring in, I guess, some sort of income to the family. And I know that there is no equal opportunity whatsoever for females in that society, and for them not to be able to have a fair go, or forget about a fair go, just to have a chance to live alongside men's in the country, and then to have a family who's got four daughters. They don't even have a son, who could carry the burden of the family. That is what makes it most difficult. And a particular example of that family being one with a mum who was willing to work for the 4 daughters, but she has lost her eyesight because of her age, and the young daughters can't go out in the society because of the way that society operates, because of the cultural barriers that they've created for the females in that society. And then you've got kids who are literally crying for food for the day, for that one lunch or one meal at night, or one meal for the day. And we're not talking about a meal such as meals that we're having here in Australia that we're being blessed with. We're talking about a simple piece of bread. That's what a meal would be for them. A simple piece of bread with a cup of tea, with a bit of a sugar in it. That would be one of the piece of meals that they could have for the day. It's touching to see that family that are living in a tent. They don't even have some sort of a structure to live in. They have just got a tent, and I could see from the photo those tents are ripped. They don't have a covering, no rugs, no floor mats for them to sleep on, and it's probably just a 2 meters by 2 meters tent. That was the most disheartening. That's what made me feel stronger in my missions and in what we're doing today.
Yeah, and those kind of things for people living in Australia, because we don't see that, we don't understand that. It's challenging, when you start to you're opening people's eyes by telling us about this. Because I know that for myself, we talk about women's rights and whatever, but
Yes.
for me, I don't experience any problem with that. And so for me, it's kind of like, yeah, what are you talking about? Where, it's a non-issue. But then I've got to be reminded that in a country like Afghanistan, where it is, women are in a completely different place than what I am.
Yes.
That these are the women that we really need to uplift and give the opportunity to. And I really applaud you for being that person, for standing up and making that difference. It's an incredible thing.
I'm only doing my job, but thank you so much, Andrea. Yeah.
Well, I like the way that you say that. You're doing your job, because really it's all of our job, isn't it, to support each other.
Absolutely. And I wish there is going to be a lot more males like myself, especially coming from that country, to understand what they're doing to their society and what they're doing to their family. It's what they're going to leave behind as a legacy, and some of those legacy is what we're seeing today. Nobody else can help them apart from themselves helping themselves. But what I'm doing is just trying to alleviate some of the pain and suffering that they're going through. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm doing any bigger job than trying to support them sustainably for a long time, or making some changes that would be really valuable, the one that I would like to see in the near future.
Yeah. Yes, because it certainly would be, I would guess that your biggest dream is that they have no need for someone like you to come along, that they start to be able to, that something changes so that they can step into society in a way that they can support themselves.
Absolutely. That is my dream.
Yeah.
I do not want myself to be there. I want them to be empowered and to be able to do what they want to do for themselves. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's amazing. So apart from this, what do you do in your normal life?
So currently I have a company. I've got a small construction business in Victoria and Melbourne. And I am building residential houses for people who require custom building.
Mm-hmm.
And have been doing that for the past 2 years. So 2 years since I have established my own company. And prior to that, I was working and teaching at Holmes Glen in a degree program, which probably is now coming to the end of that degree program for that school. And I worked for different companies in terms of doing insurance assessment and claims for residential properties and commercial properties.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, the reason I bring this up is, how does it inspire you in your daily life, in your own business, to know that one of the things that you are able to do because you're in business is support your social mission?
I think, thank you so much. It's a beautiful question, because I think that was one of my questions of how can I do this? How can I do that? For a long time, I've been thinking, I thought, I'm not earning enough. I'm not doing enough in order to be able to help others. What I didn't realize is that those were all somewhat excuses that I gave myself. You can do whatever you want to do if you're going to put it in your schedule of daily or daily mission or weekly mission or a monthly mission. So it actually started with teaching. I thought, when I'm going out to teach, I was teaching from 6 in the evening to 9. First, at the very beginning of that teaching 4 or 5 years ago, it was about getting an extra income. But very soon that extra income wasn't needed. And it was more about my passion in going to school and teaching to other students. And I realized that was when I was talking about equal opportunity. I was going out to schools at 6 o'clock in the evening and sacrificing my own family time, which I probably didn't need to sacrifice at that time. I wasn't looking for the income, but I was thinking, I'm going out to give back to society and to give back to those students that were suffering like myself, not knowing what certain knowledge in the construction industry is that they need at that point of time. So I think, to put it easier, it's that being able to create value in everything that you do on a daily basis, and many, many Australians and other people are doing that perfectly from my perspective, who's an outsider that came to this country some 10, 13 years ago. And that's what I love, and that's what I learned from them, that we could all give value on a daily basis. And those doesn't have to be money that you give out. The fact that you're, Andrea, putting this podcast today, it's on its own, helping my mission, helping your mission. And that's what I value the most. And that's one way of doing that, support to others.
Mm. And I think that's an important thing, is that we have to recognise that each of us have our own way
That's right.
of giving, of supporting social mission. And that's something that I've looked quite a bit into of recent times, is the fact that we do that. Because for some people it is about giving money. For other people it's about giving time. For others it's about service. Some others it's just about sharing words that are going to inspire somebody else or support somebody else. So it's a really important thing for us to consider and to acknowledge. And I like to acknowledge this, because a lot of people don't feel like they're doing anything, or what they have to offer isn't much. But if it touches one life, I always think that it's of value, and we have to do what it is in our own unique way. It's important.
I agree, absolutely.
So lovely you've brought up something that's really burning in me at the moment, to spend more time on research. But
Yes.
So if you were to give someone advice, if somebody was thinking about, what is it? What is it that means something to me? What's important to me to make a difference in the world? What advice would you give them?
Be innovative in your way. I'm going to use my own example of recent times. So about 2 months ago, I was speaking to someone, and I think what they mentioned is the gentleman's name is Bill Gross. He's one of the billionaires on this planet of Earth. He's very, very passionate about helping planets. So I was in his conference, and I was watching what he was talking about, and I thought, well, we have got a mission here together that works really well. He would like to save the planet. I would like to save the planet. How can we make it more direct and make more out of it? So just 2 months ago, I started thinking about this, and I said, okay, so his mission was, and what he was inviting others is to let's reduce the carbon dioxide that we're creating out of every actions that we do on a daily basis. Now, I thought about, one of the first thing I thought about is that what can I do? And with the amount of money that we give out to these females and people, I guess the orphans, I said the least that they can do in helping in my mission and in helping Bill Gross in his mission is that I asked them to plant a tree in their backyards. So hopefully with that, they feel that they're getting paid for something that they're doing. And I felt it will also encourage them that planting something green, it will grow. So you need to plant a seed, and that would be giving them some sort of a help in some sort of a, I guess, mission to that. Now, 2 months ago we started that, and today I'm very proud to say that I've been able to join Bill Gross's mission in the same way without even spending $1 more on that mission. It's just all the females that we're providing with some support. They're now planting a tree, and hopefully by now we've planted about 22 trees to date, which I haven't done that for a number of years, and that's another way of helping out. So to give advice to others is that think about the things that you do, and there's always one other ways that you can add to that and create, I guess, an innovative way of providing value to the society or to your mission that you would like without an additional burden to your life.
That's beautiful. I really love that analogy you have too of planting the seed and the way that gives them a feeling like they're doing something of value as well. So, and then they can watch that tree grow, and I can imagine lots of things going through their minds as they watch that tree grow about how they're doing something for one thing, but also remembering that as that tree grows, their self-esteem may grow, their empowerment grows, their family grows, and also in gratitude that they've been given an opportunity to make a better life for their families.
Yes.
That's
yes.
Beautiful. So if somebody wants to find out more about what you're doing, and if they might want to help out on that, or maybe they're interested in your business, how can they get in touch with you?
Wow. Andrea, simply, I'm always available over the phone, and I'm always available via email. We are in the process of, I guess the foundation is at its early stages. It's only been about a year. We had whatever money we had, we tried to make it a direct payment to these families.
Yep.
And so I guess if anybody would love to help, no matter how small or how big it is, we can certainly provide them with the bank account, with my phone number and with my email address. And we can provide the family on the other side who receives the money to provide a thanks and show them the amount of money that they received with this, without any fees or any charges so direct amount of money being transferred to their bank accounts or to these people, and they can acknowledge it via a video message back to this family.
Beautiful. That would be lovely. Well, thank you, Shahid. It's been a pleasure talking to you and finding out more about what you're doing. There's lots of little gems in what you've shared, and I think a lot of inspiration for people to take about, gee, what is it that I can do in my life? Because I believe there's something for each of us to do, and it's important that we, for our own self-esteem, for our own self-empowerment and joy of living, that when we give to somebody else, that we do something for someone, then that's when we find who we are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Andrea, for giving me the opportunity to be on your podcast and to, I guess, in some way provide my message or pass on my message and missions to the listeners of your podcast. Greatly appreciated, and thank you so much for doing what you're doing. It's amazing work.
Thank you. And also, Shahid is a speaker, so if anyone wants to have him come along and speak to their group or organisation, I'm sure he'd be available.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, of course.
So that's all we have today for the Social Mission Revolution, and we're back next week with another Social Mission Revolutionist. This has been the Social Mission Revolution with Andrea Putting. Join me again next week when we'll speak to another Social Mission Revolutionist who will inspire you on your journey to making your ultimate impact on the world.